Deep inside Blackthorn Woods, they say a strange fairy lives there, not a bright fairy, not a sweet fairy, but a whispering fairy. A fairy with dark wings and a voice that could freeze your heart. Nobody dares to go near the woods after sunset, but one night a brave girl named Aria decided she had to. Her little kitten Snowbell had gone missing, and she was determined to find him. Aria entered the forest carrying a small lantern to light her way, but a sudden gust of wind blew it out, plunging her into complete darkness. All she could see were silhouettes of twisted trees against a moonless sky. Aria called out, her voice trembling just a little, "Snowbell. Snowbell, where are you?" Silence. Then a soft, icy whisper slithered right beside her ear, "You should not have come here." A shiver ran down Aria's spine. She felt something move behind her, a faint rustle in the dead leaves. Slowly, her heart pounding in her chest, she turned around, and there in the deepest shadows, she saw them two glowing blue eyes staring right at her. A tall, thin fairy stepped forward from the darkness. Her wings were torn and tattered like a broken spider web. Her skin was pale as cold moonlight, and her long dark hair floated around her head like smoke. "This forest keeps what it takes," the fairy whispered, her voice a chilling hiss. "And now it keeps you." Before Aria could even think about running, the trees around her began to move. Their branches twisted and groaned, reaching down like skeletal hands. Dark, thorny vines crawled along the ground, slithering towards her ankles. The whole forest seemed to wake up, alive and hungry. Just as a vine wrapped around her leg, Aria heard a tiny, desperate sound, a meow, Snowbell. She followed the sound, pulling her leg free from the grasping vines, and there, in a small clearing, she saw him. Her kitten was trapped inside a glowing circle of dark, swirling magic. As Aria reached out, desperate to save him, the whispering fairy appeared right behind her, a ghostly figure in the gloom. "If you touch him, the shadows will wake," the fairy said, her voice dripping with warning. Aria took a deep, shaky breath, her eyes fixed on her frightened kitten. "I don't care," she said, her voice stronger than she felt. "He's my kitten." With all the courage she could find, she stepped into the circle of dark magic. The moment her foot crossed the line, the shadows exploded with a horrible tearing scream. The trees shook violently, and the wind roared through the woods like a monster. The fairy herself cried out, a sound of pure pain, as the dark magic swirled around Aria. But then, just as suddenly as it started, everything stopped. The wind died down. The trees stood still. The screaming silence was almost as scary as the noise before it. The whispering fairy floated closer. Her expression had changed. Her voice was softer now, filled with something that sounded like wonder. "You broke the curse," she said. "You broke it with courage. No one ever dared to touch the darkness before." Snowbell, free from the magic, immediately jumped into Aria's arms, purring loudly and rubbing against her cheek. The fairy's blue eyes glowed gently, no longer menacing. "Take him," she whispered, "and leave this place. Leave, before the forest changes its mind." Aria didn't need to be told twice. She clutched Snowbell tightly and ran as fast as she could, never looking back until she was far away from the shadows of Blackthorn Woods. She made it home safe, but from that night on, people in the village say that sometimes, when the wind blows just right through the trees of Blackthorn Woods, you can still hear the lonely whisper of a fairy waiting in the dark. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this spooky tale, don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures into the shadows. See you next time.